Finish him.
Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit that bell icon so you know when I drop content. Let's talk Shawn Porter. Since YouTube decided to take my last video down for whatever reason, but it is what it is. Shawn Porter is looking to face the winner of Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia, which is interesting to me because Shawn Porter's already lost to Errol Spence in the past, and he's beaten Danny Garcia. I'm not saying that Danny Garcia is going to beat Errol Spence, but you get where I'm going with this. No one's interested in seeing a rematch between any of these parties. But it's funny because it seems like this fight was already premeditated. And when I put the pieces together, you're going to be like, well, wow, this is kind of suspicious. So let's get into the first statement. And the first statement is coming by way of Shawn Porter in regard to a rematch with either of these guys. I think the conversation remains the same. The conversation is me fighting the winner of Errol Spence Jr. and Danny Garcia. I don't think that's something Al Heyman is looking to change and or looking forward to changing. That's what I'm being told, that I get the winner. Shawn Porter's statement. So again, this fight appears to have already been premeditated, and it doesn't make sense, especially when he's already taken an L to Errol Spence and he's already beaten Danny Garcia. So again, I'm not a big fan of these rematches. At least not this rematch, for example. But the other side of this coin is, and it's very interesting, is the fact that Shawn Porter is also ranked #1 by the WBO. Isn't that interesting? Let's get into that particular statement from Shawn Porter. I think the only addition to the conversation is the WBC now also has me ranked #1, which makes me #1 in 2 of the 4 sanctioning bodies, which isn't bad. Now, that's not interesting. Very interesting, right? Because the WBO is primarily controlled by Top Rank and Bob Arum, right? So what it seems to me is that they were trying to force a fight between Shawn Porter and Terrence Crawford, which is a much better fight than Shawn Porter versus either of these two fighters because we've already seen it. It's old news, right? With Shawn Porter and Terrence Crawford, at least it's something new. It gives us an opportunity to see where Terrence Crawford is as a fighter at 147, since he actually hasn't had a chance to get that marquee fighter on his resume, or in the ring at least, right? Because right now he's negotiating with Kell Brook, I believe, and I'm maybe someone else. But I mean, I like Kell Brook, Terrence Crawford. I like Shawn Porter, Terrence Crawford, because Terrence Crawford, I mean, he's a good name to have on your resume. Okay, we could talk about Shawn Porter and his football player antics in the ring, or about how big his teeth and gums are, but at the end of the day, we know Shawn Porter's a tough opponent. He's going to bring it to his opponent. But my thing is, if you were to ever fight Terrence Crawford, please don't try to box Terrence Crawford. Just do what you do best. You know, come in barbaric, Neanderthalish, and just try to hurt him in any way possible. But we're never going to get a chance to see that because it appears that, you know, again, we have this fight that Al Heyman wants, which is Shawn Porter versus the winner of Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. You know, Shawn Porter's in a way has kind of been shafted in the past because, look, he's never gotten a rematch that he wanted, right? Never got the rematch with Keith, once upon a time, Thurman, Keefy Poo. Never got a rematch with Kell Brook. And these are two fighters that have already beat him in the past. And obviously, Errol Spence was the third body bag that he didn't get a chance to rematch. But unfortunately, as boxing fans, we never get what we want. So we'll have to make do with this fight. I don't want to see the fight, man. I don't. I'm not interested. I want Terrence Crawford to get one of these PBC guys. You know, I don't know if it's Bob Arum not willing to put the money up to fight these guys. I know Shawn Porter gets nothing but nigga pennies anyway. So what's the big deal? How much money is it going to take to get Shawn Porter to fight Terrence Crawford? It's not near as much as it would cost to get Errol Spence in the ring, or hell, even a Keith Thurman. At this point in his career, Keith Thurman is begging. He's begging for a fight with Terrence Crawford. But Is it the money that he's asking for? Nobody's going to pay Keith Thurman $10 million to fight Terrence Crawford. That's ridiculous. But at the same time, send him a counteroffer, something more realistic. I don't know how much Terrence Crawford is making in his fights, but, the thing is, it's bad business. And the only reason why I say it's bad business is because, look, he's at top rank. He had an opportunity. Well, once upon a time, Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao were stablemates, right? Now, Terrence Crawford's supposed to be next up. He's the dude that y'all pumping up. But y'all can't feed Manny Pacquiao or Terrence Crawford? Y'all saying Manny Pacquiao asking for too much money? But is that too much money for your next cash cow or the next guy in line? Is that too much money? Huh? For him to just beat Manny Pacquiao to a pulp? Because what about his longevity? If that would have happened, I guarantee you Manny Pacquiao probably would not be fighting today if he fought Terrence Crawford. But no, he escaped over to PBC, fought Adrian Broner, getting easy money. And the Keith Thurman fight, I thought that was going to be a tough fight for the guy. But Keith Thurman, had to lose 300 pounds in training camp and couldn't train to the best of his ability. But I digress. We're not talking about those guys. It's Shawn Porter and the fact that we might have to endure a rematch between Shawn Porter, Errol Spence, or Danny Garcia. Something that I guarantee you nobody's interested in seeing those fights. But you know what? Let's talk about it real quick in case it does happen. If Shawn Porter wins the fight, if Errol Spence wins the fight, I got him beating Shawn Porter again. And you know what? I got him making it look a lot easier the second time around. The first fight, the difference between a win and a loss for Spence was the fact that he knocked Shawn Porter down late in that fight. And Shawn Porter was dazed. He was dazed. He was hurt. His teeth and mouth is just so big and strong. Don't get me wrong. He's probably got the same bite force as a hyena, but look, he still went down when he got hit in the face. And I think right now, and there's a lot that we don't know about Errol Spence, but from what I've seen as far as interviews, his speech pattern, his physical conditioning, he looks like he's ready to go. That's my opinion. He looks like he's ready to go. But we won't know until he fights Danny Garcia. But right now I'm thinking ahead. If we're gonna have to sit through Errol Spence and Shawn Porter again, I got Spence winning. And he just might stop that boy this time. He just might do it. But again, I'm not advocating for that fight. I don't like these rematches. But it just seems like they've been building this up. I've heard subtle hints here and there. Errol Spence dropping Shawn Porter. And I was like, why are you dropping his name? You already beat him. Why are you giving him a rematch? I don't care if the first fight was close. I'm not interested in seeing that. I'd rather see Errol Spence fight or at least attempt to make a fight with Manny Pacquiao because they both got belts. I'm not interested in the Shawn Porter rematch with either guy. Give us new fights. And trust me, I get boxing as a business. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense, but come on. And I preach that on this channel all the time. It's all about the business. It's about the money first, and then it's about the fans last. And it sucks. But eventually we'll get the fights we want. It's not going to stop you from being a boxing fan, is it? I bet it's not. But again, let me know your thoughts. Me personally, I don't want to see the rematch. I want to see Shawn Porter fight somebody else. I want to see him fight Terrence Crawford. I want to see Spence face Pacquiao or some combination of that. Shawn Porter go after Pacquiao. Pacquiao, Spence, Crawford. Make those fights happen. But again, I'm just Hitman Boxing, a YouTube channel that talks boxing. What can I do about it? Hitman Boxing, drop a comment, like the video, subscribe. I'm out.